Welcome, everyone. We'll get started here in just a second.
Hi, Sonia.
There we go. So we're very pleased to have Joey Ficocelli joining us this evening. Joey is a kinesiologist, and he's going to talk about the Kidney Wellness Hub exercise snack program. Over to you, Joey.
Wonderful. Thank you, Teresa. Hi, everybody. It seems we got a good four, so a little bit more of a intimate setting tonight. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you for those of you who threw on your screen. Really makes it a little bit more kind of lively. Totally understand if you don't. No problems there either. I am just going to share my screen here, and then we'll talk a little bit about exercise. Let's see here. Boom. Okay. Can I just get a thumbs up? Perfect. Thanks, Teresa. Amazing. So my name is Joey, as Teresa mentioned. I'm here going to talk a little bit about the Kidney Wellness Hub, the healthy living section, staying active in particular as a kinesiologist. Most of my expertise comes within physical activity and exercise. So how I was chosen to be the person here in front of you today, I studied kinesiology at the University of Toronto. I'm an accredited kinesiologist here in BC, in my home province, and I've got about 3 years of experience working with people with kidney disease in various different roles, from hemodialysis research, from kinesiologist on a hemodialysis clinic, to volunteering with the Kidney Foundation, creating online resources for exercise, and yeah. I have already been told by Sadia that my picture here is outdated, so I apologize for looking slightly different. I do change my hairstyle and facial hair a little bit here and there, but nonetheless, the same person, here to talk to you today. So I'm going to start with a couple of kind of interactive questions. If you're able to use the hands up function, then please feel free to use it. Otherwise, if you just want to throw your hand up, I can see everyone's screen too there, and that's totally fine. But who here is familiar with Canada's weekly physical activity guidelines, specifically for people living with kidney disease? Anybody? Teresa, surely you know it by now. You never throw your hand up. Wonderful. Okay, so no problems there. Looks like we've got a little bit of learning to do, which is awesome. So here's Canada's weekly physical activity guideline. It's at least 30 minutes of moderate intensity physical activity on 5 days per week. And the goal is really to achieve 150 minutes of physical activity per week total. And so in that 150 minutes, they have gone further, as mentioned before, to actually separate it on at least 5 days to make sure you're being consistent throughout the week on kind of a daily basis, or just short of a daily basis. One thing I do want to point out here is that physical activity as a definition is really any movement of your body. But specific to Canada's weekly physical activity guideline is that it's actually intentional exercise time. So your acts of daily living may be grocery shopping, cleaning around your house, doing the dishes, which are totally physically intensive and involve physical activity. This recommendation is actually not including those physical activity times that are required for your acts of daily living. So it's intentional exercise on top of those daily habits that you're already doing that include physical activity. So with this in mind, now just a quick show of hands, who here thinks they're currently meeting this standard? Got a couple hands. Fantastic. Good. And then also some hands that have stayed down. Totally fine. That's where I come in. Whether you put your hand up or not, we have some tools here to kind of share with you on really how to optimize your physical activity time, and or to actually start including some more physical activity time in a very simple and realistic manner to help meet that weekly guideline from Canada. And so the tool here that I'm going to share with you is actually called an exercise snack. So what is an exercise snack? It's a short, repeated bout of exercise that breaks up prolonged periods of sitting throughout the day. It's actually just 1 to 3 minutes. It can be longer, but it can be just 1 to 3 minutes as well, and it can make a huge impact. And so the idea of an exercise snack actually comes from research out of the University of Toronto. A professor that I was working with at the University of Toronto was looking and thinking about what's most impactful. Is it prolonged periods of inactivity that are holding us back, or is it longer time spent exercising? And in her research, she really came to figure out that it's the prolonged periods of inactivity that really contribute to chronic disease and difference in metabolic health. And the most potent way of using exercise is to break up those periods of prolonged sitting or prolonged inactivity. And so just in those short repeated bouts. So if you break up your physical activity time and spread it throughout the day, it's actually more effective than if you're fitting in 1 hour in the morning or 1 hour in the evening or just on the weekends. Ultimately, the more you're able to do, the better, and however it works for you is important to know. But here's just a tool to really maximize and optimize the physical activity that you're doing, and perhaps to provide you with a strategy that allows it to be a little bit easier built into your day. So before I get into some of the benefits and the program that we have at the Kidney Wellness Hub, we're going to give it a try. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. And I'm going to share a different one with an exercise snack. So for this exercise snack, we're going to take a little break. I'm going to encourage you to follow along if you're able to and wanting to. And to do so, I'm just going to encourage you to get right to the edge of your seat. So maybe pull your seat back a little bit if you need some space. If you can stretch out your legs in front of you, then that's all the space we need. Everything is going to be done from a seated position. We've got 4 exercises to do. So again, just give you a few seconds to come right to the edge of your seat and get a little bit of space to stretch out your legs. And then I'm just going to confirm that everyone can see the video. Thumbs up. Perfect. Thank you. Amazing. And then in our seated position, the first exercise is just going to work to activate some of the muscles on the front of our shin. It's called a toe-up exercise. So seated at the edge of your seat, I'm going to invite you to bring both toes up towards the sky at the same time. This little motion will strengthen that muscle at the front of our shin. We're going to do 2 sets of 10. So starting with me, I'll count this off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have got one more set to do. Just before we do that, I'm going to remind you to try and bring that toe as high up to the sky as you can, really feeling that contraction through the front of your shin. If you can get your toe as high up as you can, then just go as high as you're able to, and that's perfectly fine to activate that muscle as well. Ready for the second set? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. Hopefully you're still with me. We're going to level up to the second exercise. The second exercise is quite similar, except for we're going to lift our heel off the ground as high as we can. So again, in that comfortable seated position, feel free to grab onto the chair for extra balance if you need. And we're going to do 2 sets of 10 here. So pushing through the front of our toes, lift that heel up. Ready for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. And just as we rest for the second set, this is activating the muscles on the back of our calf, these big muscles that push us forward when we're walking. Ready? We'll do set number 2. Another 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Amazing. On to the third exercise. For the third exercise, I want you to think about straightening your leg at the knee joint. In order to do this one, I'm going to encourage us to do it one leg at a time. So starting with your right leg, we're going to just straighten that leg and really feel a contraction through our anterior thigh, using those big muscles in the front of our thigh. Starting with the right leg, count off the first set of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Amazing. Now we can't forget about the left side, so here we go with the left for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ready for the real challenge? Hold on to the edge of your seats. We're going to do both legs at the same time now. So last set of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now with that one, if you prefer one at a time, that's totally fine, but you can also do 2 at a time if that works better for you. For our last one, we're going to do a hip flexion exercise. So I'll do 1 set from a seated position and 1 set from a standing position. Both are equally as effective, just depends on what's more comfortable for you. So for the first one, I want you to think about driving your knee up to the sky, really engaging that small muscle at the front of our hip that drives that knee forward when we're walking. Again, we'll do 1 leg at a time here. So starting with the right leg, count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. Moving on to our left leg, we'll do 10 there as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If sitting in the chair and completing that exercise was great, then continue with that. If not, there's a secondary option where we'll do standing. If you'd like to, feel free to use a wall to assist your movement. If not, you can also do it just standing up straight. Again, we'll do 1 leg at a time, thinking about driving that knee forward. Again, starting with that left leg for a count of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Amazing. And again, for the right side, same thing. If you're finding it difficult to reach your knee up as far as I am, no worries. Even if you just make it to here, you're still engaging that front muscle. So our last count of 10, starting now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Amazing. Thank you for joining me for that quick little exercise snack. That quick 2-3 minutes of movement is really beneficial for the muscles in your body. Now, amazing. Just a quick little show of hands. How did that go? Thumbs up, decent. Thumbs down are totally fair. We got a bunch of thumbs up. Okay, amazing. Awesome. Good. I'm glad. Thank you for following along. I see Sherry has a question. We'll have time for questions at the end of the presentation, Sherry, if you just hold on to that one for now. I'm going to share back the presentation here. Perfect. Okay, amazing. So I want to jump into the benefits of physical activity because for those of you who put your thumbs up, amazing. I'm glad you enjoyed it. We're able to run through it effectively and comfortably. And so here we'll talk about the benefits of doing that type of movement. But as well, for those of you who are maybe not so convinced by it right now, that's totally fine. I'm going to try and convince you a little bit of persuade you on why we do it and why it's important to do it. And so here are the benefits specifically as they pertain to people with kidney disease or lower kidney function. So a first one and a major one is here improved blood sugar regulation. So that actual active muscle contraction actually draws in the blood sugar from our circulatory system, from our blood, and brings it into the muscle to be used as energy, which reduces those spikes after meals or those spikes of blood sugar throughout the day, which helps to modulate not only blood sugar, but also insulin, helping to prevent diabetes or to help anyone who's in a pre-diabetic zone or a diabetic zone modulate their blood sugar. Next, lowering the risk of heart disease. Increased physical activity time has been shown to lower the risk of heart disease, which is important because heart disease still remains the #1 killer of all humans. And as well, improved kidney function, specifically for kidney patients. The more time we spend intentionally doing physical activity, we actually have seen improvements in kidney function. As well, lowered blood pressure. So consistent with all the other benefits, the more time we spend in physical activity, engaging in physical activity, we see chronic lowering of blood pressure. So over a long period of time, lowering of blood pressure of up to 5 to 7 points, both systolic and diastolic. And then my two personal favorites, muscle, bone, and strength maintenance. And then it's partnered with improved quality of life. I always just like to take a second to highlight these two because in my experience working with any population, but especially kidney patients, the one goal that everyone has is to either improve their quality of life or maintain the quality of life that they currently have. And a huge important way to do that is to make sure that we're maintaining our muscle mass, maintaining our bone strength and density, and in ensuring that we have that functionality on a daily basis to do the things that we love to do, such that we can have that high quality of life. And so just through these short little exercise snacks spread throughout the day, we're going to ensure that you're keeping your muscle strong, your bones strong, so that you can help your partner do the dishes, you can help make dinner, you can help go grocery shopping, you can take 15 minutes out of your day and be able to walk and socialize with your friends, all those important things that we love to do as well. Now I'm going to plug the Kidney Wellness Hub's exercise snack program in particular. So this is a specific physical activity program that uses that tool of exercise snacks as its centerpiece. Teresa and I collaborated on this one to bring it to life. And the goal of the exercise snack program is actually to offer a simple and realistic walking plan to help anyone and everyone meet their physical activity goals, no matter your level of physical ability or current activity level. So this is for anyone and everyone. If you're someone who put up your hand and you're like, yep, I'm hitting 150 minutes a week, then this program may still be beneficial to you to make sure that you're optimizing the way that you're doing your physical activity and as well potentially progressing to meet specific goals that you may have. And if you're someone who didn't put up your hand and may need a little bit more encouragement or instruction to help get you started to build towards meeting that guideline that the government of Canada has put forth, then this is a great program too, because it can start you right at the beginning and slowly progress you in a way that is comfortable for you and allows you to be confident in your ability to move and to engage in physical activity. So three really quick components of it. There's 2 to 4 minutes of warm-up exercises. So just in that brief little time that we just took together to do that exercise snack, those were the 4 warm-up exercises that we actually have in the program. And so 2 minutes would be doing 1 set of them, 4 minutes would be doing 2 sets of them. So we just did 2 sets of them. So very simply, the first component of the program is to do the warm-up exercises. And then after those warm-up exercises, we're going to encourage you to engage in a little bit of recreational walking. So here I've noted down that it's 2 minutes of walking, and then we need to progress it slowly. So over the course of months, we'll add an additional minute to every exercise snack to slowly build up the physical activity time that you're engaging in. One of the most unique parts of this program is actually that third component right there. So aiming for 3 times a day, once after each meal. and 3 to 5 times a week. So it's really that once after each meal that's a key component here. I do that for 2 reasons. The first reason is that if we're able to link up exercise and that physical activity to feeding ourselves to meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, then it makes it a very easy way to make that physical activity a habit in our daily life. So you don't have to wake up and think, when am I going to fit it in? You just have to eat your meal and then know that we're going to do 2 to 3 minutes of movement after that meal. The second reason is after you eat, that's where you get the biggest spikes in your blood sugar. And so that active muscle contraction directly after actually helps to smooth out that big surge in blood sugar, really helping to have the strongest benefits towards modulating blood sugar throughout your day. So here it may seem a little bit complicated, but if you were to start right at the beginning, all you're going to be doing is 2 minutes of those warm-up exercises that we just went through. And we're going to encourage you to do that 3 times a day, 3 days a week. And slowly over the course of weeks and months, we're going to build that to 5 days a week. And we're going to build it to 4 minutes of warm-up exercises and then introduce some walking and slowly increase that as well as your confidence and comfortability levels increase with it. This is my favorite part of the program. It's our kinesiology student support. So if you choose to join the program through the Kidney Wellness Hub, you will have access to our kinesiology students and kinesiologists that have signed up with us. And so through universities in BC, SFU and UBC, and also the University of Toronto, we've got partnerships with the kinesiology students there, senior kinesiology students, who will be able to meet with you one-on-one to decide where is best to start in the program. Because if you're someone who's already walking 30 minutes a day and just wanting to optimize that movement, then they won't start you right at the beginning. They'll have a conversation and see where's best to start and how best to build it into your life. And as well, if you're someone who needs to start at the beginning, they'll help encourage you and guide you through that process. But as well, if you have specific goals, exercise goals, movement goals for yourself, whether they're short-term or long-term, these kinesiology students will also have the opportunity to adjust the different exercises that you're doing. So it's not just those 4 that we just tried, but perhaps you want to do some upper body stuff, or perhaps you have a mobility impairment and some of that is causing you pain and you want some alternatives, or need to modify any of the program itself. These kinesiology students are in place to meet with you on a bi-weekly basis, either through email or on Zoom, just to make sure they're checking in, helping to adjust and modify the program to meet your needs so you can meet your goals, and also to help motivate and encourage and just check in to ensure that we're supporting you through that progression towards meeting Canada's weekly physical activity guidelines and surpassing it. So if this seems like a program that's interesting to you that you'd like to take part of, we've put a link in the chat, so feel free to follow that link and join up, and we'll love to see you online in the next couple of weeks with our bi-weekly check-ins that we have and information sessions. But if not, I would like to just encourage that this exercise snack, this way of optimizing your physical activity, is a really useful tool to get the most out of your exercise in terms of benefits of physical activity, but also as a very simple tool to help build up your exercise engagement over a period of time if you're currently not doing too much. With that, thank you so much for your participation. Thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for participating in the exercise snack, and I am going to stick around to answer any questions that we may have.